The latest. Thank you for love and support. I appreciate you all. Are all in all, the Savior, the Protector, the Unifier, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the most loved, General Abdurrahmani Chiani, gave us a bombshell. According to him, these people always come into the continent portraying themselves as NGOs, that these people do not mean well, that these are the ones that are sponsoring the armed groups that we have in our continent that are always destabilizing us, and that we should be very careful about the foreign aids and assistance we have been receiving from these people, like Captain Ibrahim Traore rightfully said, that these things are what they use to cripple the African. According to him also, that Emmanuel Macron opened the eyes of Africans. Before that, we know that there is one economist who is a Frenchman who also made this claim that it is the of Emmanuel Macron that opens the eyes of Africans. And according to him, they have to do everything possible in their power to make sure Emmanuel Macron leaves office. Because if he doesn't go and we Africans will rise up, we will take over the world and they will suffer, which they are not ready for that. And all in all is also saying that it is Emmanuel Macron who actually opened the eyes of we the Africans, because this man always makes claims of everything that is in Africa, especially Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. That whatever that has to do with these three nations, nobody has the right to say anything except France. And that when he made this statement, we do not understand. We the Africans do not understand.
It is necessary to follow Emmanuel Macron? Yes. Yeah, that was at the Burkina. Not even Burkina with this. I consider this a minor incident. Agree, because if Marc Kabore had not received it with all due respect, he could not have told Marx that he is the electrician addressing Burkinabe students, and who really applauded to tell you. Of EC, which takes place in Africa. I would rather talk about another, which is current Emmanuel Macron, when he was always away to Brussels, in relation to the request for conciliation, where he had said, do not get involved, of EC, which takes place between the Niger colony et la France. Niger belongs to us. Are the only ones to decide on the solution. I'm very happy I'm going to interview a legend, the strongman Zuzuma Zuma nursing.
Encore en 2023, décembre, un autre brillant Français a dit, je cite,
Still in 2023, Decembers.
c'est le
Another French colleague said, I quote,
stupide. J'ai dit, je répète, hein. C'est le petit
it is the
d'Emmanuel
stupid little one.
qui a
I say, I
ouvert les
repeat.
yeux aux Africains.
It's the stupid little one of Emmanuel Macron,
Emmanuel Macron qui a ouvert
who
les
opened the
yeux
eyes
aux
of
Africains.
Africans. Stupid Emmanuel Macron, who opened the eyes of Africans.
Ces colonies, nos fils,
If ever we,
nos petits-fils,
sorry, these colonies,
en Afrique,
our sons,
cherchaient leur subsistance.
our little sons,
La migration
will go to Africa to
va
seek their
changer
subsistence.
de direction. L'Union européenne,
Migration will change direction.
à côté de la France,
Agree the European Union to
sorte que cette vision
side of LA, France,
africaine,
must ensure that this vision
c'est ce qu'il dit, Et elle va,
African girl fails.
cette vision, nouvelle vision des Africains,
Does he say it goes further?
va échouer.
This vision,
Niger,
new vision of AS Africans,
le
must
Mali,
fail.
le Burkina,
Yeah.
s'ils réussissent,
Niger on
suivront.
Mali,
Il
Burkina.
faut que Emmanuel Macron,
If they succeed, others will follow.
même si c'est avec regret, il faut que
Emmanuel Macron must leave this.
ou la France
I agree with him, even if it is with regret. Yeah, it is necessary that Emmanuel Macron leaves for France.
n'a pas d'histoire. La même chose
Will
que
suffer.
Sarkozy avait annoncé.
Tout à fait.
L'Afrique n'a pas d'histoire.
Africa
Et en conséquence,
has no history.
The
Same thing
conclusion,
that Sarkozy had
l'Afrique
announced
ne peut pas
completely.
dominer
Africa
le monde.
has no
Mais
history.
l'Afrique n'a pas besoin de
And
la permission
consequently,
de quelqu'un
this
pour
is
dominer le
his
monde,
conclusion.
qu'elle a déjà dominé
Africa cannot
à un
dominate the
certain
world.
moment où, ce monde,
But Africa does not need the permission
to dominate the world.
since it has already dominated it at a certain time when this world, which he claims had no existence,
Et c'est pourquoi je dis,
human or organizational.
cet acharnement,
I close the parenthesis, and that's why I say,
le fait que nos pays
yes, everything that happens
ne méritent aucun égard.
pour la France,
Nos pays
and the fact that our countries do not deserve any
qu'on
misguidance.
exploite à volonté.
Our countries must remain the colonies that we exploit
Naturels
Voilà.
qui sont un autre
at will, and that's what brings me back to our natural resources.
affiché.
Here are another point in addition to the displayed.
Les ressources naturelles qui sont la base de l'acharnement français. Parce que les Français
There are these natural
les
resources,
Nigériens,
which are the basis of French harassment, because the French understood it before the Nigerian. To start with uranium. Yeah, exploited for over 50
a
years.
fait la prospérité.
For 68,
Les Français l'ont compris. Mais l'uranium
uranium has made LA of France.
est la mort des Nigériens.
The French understood it, but uranium has made misery. And the death of the Nigerians, yeah, that.
Qu'elle soit sur le
Welcome
territoire
Nigerians
nigérien,
did not understand all our
qu'elle soit
resources,
dans le sous-sol burkinabé ou malien,
whether they are on the territory,
de cet acharnement
Nigerian national, that they are in the basement,
que l'on
Burkinabé or Malian,
de la France,
are the subject of this.
mais
Relentlessly,
toutes ces
a second
puissances
point that is
occidentales
observed,
qui forment bloc derrière
not only from
la
France, but also of all these Western powers
cette
that form block behind France,
Qui est là.
que ce qui se passe
despite really this evidence.
avec, l'humain, ça n'a rien à voir
You are
avec
there, that
la
CE
volonté
that happens
de la France.
has nothing to do with humans,
Droit ou la démocratie, d'ailleurs,
has nothing to do with the will of France
donner
to defend the law or democracy behind,
Variable, c'est ça.
qui évolue
which
en
are-
fonction de contexte et des intérêts.
give with variable geometry,
Donc, c'est
that
ce
evolves
qui fait
according to the context
la France
and the interests of ESC powers of
contre
agreement.
nous. Et troisième
So,
explication,
This is what
c'est
makes France
la
attack us.
confédération. Dans cette
And third explanation
organisation que nous avons créée,
is the confederation in this
trois piliers
organization that we have created.
retenus comme étant des
Three pillars were retained as pillars
communs à nos trois États. La défense, la
imperatively common
diplomatie et le développement.
to our three states of agreement, the
La
defense,
défense, nous avons
diplomacy, and development.
la force unifiée. Avant même
The defense.
que cette force
We have approached the unified force before
je l'ai expliqué que nous menions
even that this unified force is created.
le Burkina
Oui.
ou avec
I explained that we conduct operations
le Mali, également avec.
either with Burkina, yes, or with Mali, Mali and Mali.
Sur le plan de la diplomatie,
Also with Burkina,
nous avons décidé que tout ce que
but in terms of
nous allons
diplomacy,
faire et toute décision
we have
que nous
decided
allons
that everything we will do
doit faire l'objet d'une concertation
and any decision we make
nos trois États.
must be the subject of
Entre les
consultation
États de l'espace confédéral.
between our three states.
Le développement qui est le troisième
Agreement
pilier,
between the states of Confederate
vous l'avez
space.
suivi récemment avec la création
Development, which is the third pillar.
et de développement
You have recently followed him
fédéral
with the creation of the investment bank and development. So, the Confederal Bank,
dont le capital est
it's all about investment and development.
à plus de 300 milliards
This bank,
sera constitué
of which the capital
par les efforts
is estimated at over 300 billion, yeah,
des États de la.
will be constituted by endogenous own
C'est
efforts
pour vous dire que et sur le plan
of the states of the Confederation of Agreement. So it's to tell you that,
et sur le plan
and on the defense level,
développement, les
security
États
and
de la
diplomacy.
Confédération s'activent et c'est-
And in terms of developing agreements,
nous ne sommes pas restés
the states of the Confederation are active.
stériles.
And it is a reality. We did not stay.
Un sage,
In the
la
sterile
théorie
theory,
pratique est stérile
because as a wise man says, yeah,
et aveugle.
What he actually meant. And that these people also sit down to tell us that we do not have history. Yes, because they have manipulated us. They have distorted our history. And because we don't know the actual history of ours, these people don't consider us to be, you understand, enough to rule the world. And that we don't need these people assistance or guidance or what they say for us to believe in ourselves before we know that we can rule the world again. That Africans, we have ever ruled the world and we are still ruling the world because we have everything that these people need. That the people understand and know that if Africans should be liberated and we take control over everything that we have, they will collapse. Their economies will come to an end. And because they are not ready to see that happen, they have to fight us with everything. They have to fight us with everything. And that these people are making sure that they fight us in every angle. Because they believe that if they should allow Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to succeed, the other democratic elected will rise up. And if this does happen, they will come to an end. And because they are not willing to end their rule and power over the African and in the world, they have to fight the African. And we know the system that these people have kept in place. And we know what they are doing to us. Our leaders are aware. And that is why they are making sure they get us leaders that will come in the guise of being leaders, but they are their puppets that will allow them to keep getting everything that they need in Africa. And it is high time you and I rise up and understand that if Africa will move forward, we need to support our leaders in every angle. In every angle, we need to support them, contribute our quota. This is not the time for us to allow ourselves to be manipulated against them, like they tried it on Captain Ibrahim Traore. Abdurrahman Chiani is the type who hardly talk. We hardly see him. But the day that he will finally come to speak, he will talk a lot. And this interview is over 3 hours. He brought out a whole lot of issues. Some still believe that when we go back into democratic elected, that is when Africa will be better. But before you think that way, ask yourself, all those democratic elected nations, what significant thing have they been able to bring on board before we now think about the same system of governance? Why are they fighting Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso when we have other leaders in Togo, in Cameroon, in Ivory Coast who are doing nothing? In Kenya, their citizens are tired of them and they want them to leave. Yet these ones are not always talking about these leaders. And they always make sure they praise the bad leaders, claiming they are the ones that are good for us. Why are they not allowing us to choose the leaders that we want? that should tell us that these people never meant well for us, and they make sure that they have a system that everybody must be under that system. And when you try to move out of the system, they lose control. And for them to keep getting power over us, they have to force all of us to be under that system so that they can continue to be controlling Africans. But it is time for us to also shine. Our place is not in the dark. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa, West Africa, in Niger.